Good range, nice.
It's interesting how different every hack squat
each
model
machine
feels. This one's real smooth.
I always thought that was cool. What that bodybuilders, they go to specific gyms
For like a specific brand of machine.
Yeah, they're like,
exactly.
I want that feel for today, you know. I think you might have to grab a 40. Oh yeah, over there.
Yeah, those differences are subtle, but you feel them just when the resistance profile is just a little bit different from chest press to chest press machine.
How long you been married for?
Let's see, we got married in, our 3-year anniversary is next week.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, we met right when quarantine hit during COVID. Hit it off right away.
Cool.
She supports the crazy bodybuilder, powerlifter lifestyle.
Yeah, the weird diet stuff.
Yeah, she supports it.
Yeah, it's really interesting in my house. You know, my wife's just like cooking or doing whatever, and like I just do my thing, and she like I almost always eat with her or her and my kids. But like sometimes I'm just doing my own weird thing.
Right.
But usually what I'll do is I'll eat whatever I cooked and that. You know, I always just eat I like to participate. You know. So she never cooks any like junk or anything like that. So it's always good. It's always good food that would fit just about any diet anyway. So yeah, I think it's a big thing. You know, as I've been, you know, of course I did a bodybuilding show, and that's like no participate. You can't veer off at all.
Yeah.
There's no. You're on a very very specific plan. But yeah, for the most part, family dinners and family gatherings. You know, I'm not a Tupperware guy. I'm not, you know, I might be weird enough to bring like a protein shake with me or something, but that'd be about it. Try to blend in at least a little bit.
How was it working with Hani?
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, he was incredible. Switching things every couple weeks.
Yeah.
Didn't even really know why. You know, he would just be like, hey, switch to red potatoes. And I was like, just bought like giant bag of like white potatoes because he told me, you know, he's like, yeah, but we're switching to red now. I'm like, okay. And we would make these other weird changes and they would make differences. And I'd be like, holy shit, like that small, it wasn't even a caloric change.
Interesting.
I'm like, this is nuts. And you know what? He never really put me that low on calories.
Yeah.
That was interesting. But he did make me do a lot of cardio.
Right.
90 minutes of cardio for like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And nearly every day.
I'm kind of more in that boat as far as I'd rather keep food high, even if it means we increase the cardio output more, as opposed to going rock bottom with the food.
Especially if somebody likes movement and exercise. Like I don't, you know, I didn't like 90 minutes 5 times a week, but I like movement anyway, so. That feels awesome. It's amazing, you know, it's so cool to be able to do exercises that have no negative impact.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like you're just getting good quality from it.
Yeah, 100%. We use the belt squat with a lot of our guys in season, and then, you know, in the NFL setting with the older veteran guys, they'd be primarily on a belt squat.
Yeah.
So House was big on it when we were at the Panthers. So it's a great tool. Yeah, I even think something like a hack squat is, you very rarely see one of these in a football weight room, but I think that this would be a great tool, especially for a return to play guy who can't load his spine very well, or you're getting him back into just a squat pattern, just having the, you know, external stability and taking the lower back pressure out of it. Things like this I'm highly in favor for.
And you picked it today because specifically you're just doing some quads, right?
Yep, quad focus leg day. Yep. So hack squat, pendulum squat, you know, a heels elevated narrow stance, Smith machine squat. Those are some of my favorite quad movements. You know, so I'm not really doing any free weight squatting right now. I'm just such a posterior chain dominant lifter that if I push a set of squats to the brink of failure, it's not my quads failing.
Yeah.
It's my erectors and glutes taking over. So, whereas with this, I'm forced to use my quads.
With being so tall, has it been a challenge to build up your legs?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I've got
your legs are jacked. You know, I've seen the pictures.
I've got pretty strong legs. They're cut up, but I've got long and kind of slender legs. So adding on quad size has been like, that's my biggest focus right now, is just bring the quads up.
Trying to get that like Tom Platz look going.
Yeah, no, I doubt I'll ever get there, but if I can get a little bit closer than I am right now.
Or like Lee Priest, when Lee Priest was like in a bulk. I saw a video of him doing legs the other day. Like his leg, they look totally fake.
I know.
It looks like 100%, you know, AI or something. You're like, that's not real.
Yeah, I was not blessed with those lower body mass genetics, and I don't carry any body fat in my lower half. Every ounce of fat I gain goes to my midsection and my face. And I just stay super lean down below, and then I get like a asymmetrical look.
So weird how we're all different that way.
I know. Still feeling good.
We got about one more plate.
Let's see, we're at 5. Yeah, I bet 6 might be the work weight.
Can pull a couple off of this guy here.
You know, I'm taking like I said, kind of the lower volume approach to the hypertrophy programming, kind of the, 4 or 5 working sets per muscle group per session.
And then how many exercises per, maybe 2, 3?
So for a quad day, I'll usually do 3 set working sets of, a compound lower body press. So, 2 sets of hack squat and then a set of leg press or Smith squat, something like that. And then I'll do a couple sets of like extension. So those would be my 5 working sets of quads. But the caveat is,
I see.
The caveat is, each of those sets has to be pushed near failure.
Right.
1 rep shy of failure or to the failure point. And
so you just, on this one, on your last set, you just kind of cheated the system a little bit. You just did like a set of 3, but you're going to push your reps here.
Exactly. So all my warm-up sets, I try to minimally fatigue myself. So just feel the weight, kind of get that motor unit recruitment, just get warm. So when I get to this weight, it's not such a shock to the system, but I'm able to put all of my energy into the work set. This is the weight that's going to give me the stimulus.
Right.
So I think 6 plates would be good.
Woo!
With your training right now,
feels great.
Do you have a program, a plan, or is it kind of going to the gym, free flow, do it feel
a lot of free flow, yeah. Like, for today, I knew I wanted to do a little bit of legs. It's kind of almost like what feels fresh or good.
Right.
Yesterday, I just did a bunch of bench press and pull-ups back and forth. So the workouts don't always like, and I did a bunch of jumping, a bunch of plyos.
Gotcha.
So the workouts don't always like, they don't make sense in like a mapped out way, but
sure,
they make sense in a way of like, I'm just trying to really play to like what feels good. I have very low expectations on what needs to be done for the day. I usually have like 2 or 3 options. So like today, I went out for my run. I sprinted like 2 days ago. So I went on my run this morning. I was like, let me see what I have. I'll just warm up, I'll just run. And And I was just running, and I was like, there's nothing there today to be able to sprint.
Yeah.
So then the sprints just get pushed off till tomorrow.
Right. It's kind of like a bell curve. It's like the people who know the least what they're doing, they kind of do the approach, oh, I just come in and have no plan. But then the people who know the most what they're doing, they're the most advanced.
Right.
They know what their body needs. They can just kind of intuitively feel out, like, what should I train today and how should I approach it?
I kind of always lifted that way. Yeah. It feels good.
I think the more you can auto-regulate your training, and I don't use percentages anymore. I'm very auto-regulated with my loading and play it by feel. I think the better you can be with that auto-regulation, the better the outcome is, because you can really you can manage how much of a recovery cost you're gonna incur in that session and play it by feel, as opposed to being locked into this is what you're doing, this is the percentage, this is the weight, and you just gotta grind through it. All right.
All right, here we go. Here we go, John.
Yep.
Come on, stick with it now. Here we go. This is right where you need to be. This is where you need to be, right here. Yep.
Fuck it, I got 12.
Nice. Yep, 9. There we go. There we go, here we go. Woo.
I got more.
Yep. Got to take it all the way. Come on now.
One more.
There you go.
Oh. Yeah.
When you go to do that set from like a mental standpoint, do you almost feel like you're like about to go underwater, like you're really preparing yourself for something difficult?
Yeah. I always go into it with some butterflies.
Yeah.
I'm even thinking about it the night before, like.
Get a little nervous.
Yeah. So being in here, chopping it up with you, it helps kind of distract me from that. So I just get in here, shut your mind off and go. So I'm catching my breath.
Oh, that's all right.
Whew. But yeah, I figure, it's 60 seconds of pain. Get through it. Just maintain your rep quality, shut your brain off and go till you can't.
Some of the stuff that you went through in football, like different tryouts, trying to, just like perform in camp and keep your starting job and all those things. Have those things do you think they help prep you for some of these moments? 'Cause I'm
Absolutely.
sure those are super nerve-wracking.
Absolutely. Like, nothing will ever match the pressure of the moment of third in the game, blocking that first round edge rusher, and it's third and long and fourth quarter drive, or going through the pain of training camp. This stuff is easy compared to that.
Gassers and everything else.
Yeah.
Whew. Good job.
I got one more set of these. I'll probably throw one plate on.
Get one more torturous set in there.
Yeah. Get that rep range a little bit lower.
Here you go.
Thanks.
Things like a little frisbee for him. We had a guy that trained with us. He benched 903 in a competition. His name was Big Roy, and Roy was probably like 500 pounds. I had like 775 or something like that on the bar. Or something. I was doing some like bench training and bench shirt and board presses and stuff like that. And the bar, how a barbell sometimes on a bench press, sometimes it will be like off, right? And it will be like that little nub thing on the collar sleeve was on the rack, so it was off centered.
Okay, yeah.
And Roy just like grabbed it with one hand, and he just 775 just like moves it. We're all like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But some people just have like this kind
Some
of
people
crazy.
just have that insane country boy strength.
Yeah.
Being in strongman, like just some of that raw, untrained country boy strength you see some of these freaks have. It's mind blowing. Just that bale and hay type strength.
Oh yeah.
Pick up the heavy, awkward implement and move with it. It's amazing what some of those guys can do.
In football, like what was the? I'm imagining this probably has happened to you where you went up against somebody. Like I'm sure you went up against people, and then people told you about a person. They told you like, oh, hey, this guy's amazing. This guy's all-American. This guy, and you're prepped and whatever, and play against him, and he's good or whatever, right? But there's probably people they didn't tell you about that like are under. And you're like, how come no one's ever told me about this guy? Like, and that guy is like using his head every play. Like he's just hitting you hard.
Those are the guys I liked. I hated going against because when you're going against the star defensive end, it's like everyone's hyping him up. If you get beat by him, it's like, all right, well, it's kind of expected. Like he's the baller. Whereas the guy on the other side that no one's talking about, I'm watching the film. I'm like, okay, who the hell is this guy? Like, this guy's quietly making plays over here. You get beat by that guy, you look terrible. No one knows that he's actually a really good player. So it's more of those kind of under the radar guys that people, they're not as mentally focused on. They don't take it quite as seriously, and then they look stupid when they go against them. And then, you get raked over the coals for getting beaten by the no-name guy.
Right.
So I'd much rather go against the all-American stud every day of the week, because you beat him, you look like a hero. He beats you, hey, it was to be expected. Right. So
what about when you were in college and you would go against like teammates? Did you go against some teammates sometimes that just couldn't lift very well? Like they sucked in the weight room, but then they would just kick your ass or feel really strong on the football field?
There's, when it comes to playing on the line of scrimmage, there's just a certain strength that you can't evaluate it on a bench press or a squat. Just your ability to play with leverage and just roll your hips through contact and strike with inside hands, kind of that timing and hand placement and just playing with good hips. Like you can play with a certain type of football strength and leverage that would stun you from certain guys, because you look at them squatting or lifting in the weight room, they're middle of the road, but then they just have this twitch and this just knack for using leverage, your own weight against you, and they just have a certain pop to them that
some of them are so fast too.
Yeah. It's a lot of it. Like a guy like Jalen Carter, I mean, he might be a freak in the weight room, but he might not be. He might be totally middle of the road with strength, but his quick twitch, his ability to move the way he does at his size, his feel for the game, and just kind of instincts on, he senses a guy going this way, he knows exactly how to, flip his hips and get around that. Like, you can't, that's not going to translate to the weight room.
Did Lawrence Taylor go to North Carolina?
He did.
He did, right?
Yeah, a lot of studs came out of UNC, Lawrence Taylor, Michael Jordan, Mia Hamm, and then guys like Julius Peppers and some other freaks like that. So UNC's produced some legends.
Oh, some of the best of the best. Yeah, having Jordan's not too bad.
Yeah, it's a decent one on the resume.
Even sometimes when I just do like fasting, I kind of feel like I'm going in like a hard bench or a hard squat. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going to do not just like a 24-hour fast, but I try like 48-hour fast. Or lately I've been kind of messing around with dry fasting.
Yeah, just no fluids.
Its own evil thing. Yeah. No liquid, no food, no nothing.
Interesting.
That one's a real bastard. But when I am doing it, I just think about it like, well, you're good at all these other challenges, so why not just make it like that?
Another hard thing you're doing.
Yeah,
that's part of what I love about.
It's just the duration of it is kind of a motherfucker,
part of what I love about, the diet side of bodybuilding is it feels like every meal, it's like it's a win. I've got 6 meals a day. Every time I execute a meal, like I'm checking off a win. I'm checking off a win. Whereas with training, I get 4 or 5 sessions a week. They're hour and a half in duration. But the eating, that's all day, that's every day. So I'm just stacking up wins. I'm checking the boxes like all day.
That's the craziest part about it is that, bodybuilding or trying to lift for physique purposes is 24/7. Whereas like even as much as you've studied nutrition, people that have zero issues going through a whole football game and they don't have very good nutrition at all.
Oh, I know. So the amount of freaks we have and just genetically gifted guys who I see them and the physique they have, just rocked up abs. I'm like, what'd you eat for breakfast this morning? I didn't. Or what'd you have for lunch? Granola bar and some Cheetos. It's like some people just got it.
Yeah.
And some of our players, I'm like, look, man, when you're done with football, like, you come try this bodybuilding thing. Like, you'll go pro in a year. We get you eating like a bodybuilder. I mean, they bring some super supplements into play. Like,
some people just have crazy confidence too. Some people just have a lot of confidence. Like Chad Johnson comes to mind. Like he just had crazy confidence, and he talks about like how strong he is and stuff. And it's like, why is he talking about how strong he is? He's very like thin. He doesn't look strong, but he's strong for his position. He's strong for like the things that he needs to be able to do.
There's that confidence component, and then it seems like some of the elite guys, it's like almost like a lackadaisical, like carefree approach. Like they're not overthinking it. They go out there, they just do it.
Yeah.
They're just able to be in the zone and be relaxed with it. They're not stressed out about it. They just do what they do so effortlessly. Some people just have that.
Time to hit up some old school box squats.
Yeah. When you sit on the box, do you feel like you kind of deload through the midsection, the hips, or are you staying completely rigid and tight even as you rock back?
I deload a bunch. Yeah. I don't like this.
Right, you're not compressing through the spine.
Right.
You're relaxing, just kind of that tension in the hips.
I do them both ways though sometimes. It's actually harder for me to stay tight and almost like float on the box kind of. To be in a position to come back up the whole time.
House used to call it clouding the box.
Yeah.
Just treat the box like it's a cloud and you'd fall through it if you really sat your weight through it. All right, last set here.
Yep, here we go.
One good thing about having more weight on the bar, it's almost like mentally easier for me because like I know I'm probably only gonna get 8.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm staring down the barrel of like a 15 repper, I'm like, it's just a different kind of pain.
Yeah, those are rough. There we go. There you go, John. Yep. Come on, get there. Nice. Fuck yeah, yep.
One more.
Yep. Come on now, let's go.
No, come on, we're gonna get 10.
There we go, here we go. Good work. Holy shit.
That'll stimulate some growth.
Yeah. Something should happen from that, right?
Something should happen. Yeah, most people, I think the thing that's holding them back from growing their legs is their perception of how close to failure they are. It's not close to failure. because with something like this, it's just so hard. Systemically, you're breathing heavy. Your instincts are telling you stop the set. So you perceive, I only have 1 more in the tank. You probably have 5 more, you know. And it's those last 4 reps. That's where the real stimulus is. So.
Yeah, and with certain leg movements, it's really hard to tell. Whereas like, I think if you're doing something like a bench press, it's like you just can kind of feel your triceps. Like you're just going to get to a point where you just, but even if you can't continue a bench, it's really not that big of a deal. Someone just grabs a weight from you and you rack it. Or if you're just training by yourself, you can judge it pretty easily. Where I feel like in the squat, you can't really judge it that well. You're like, I can go, and then you're like, all of a sudden it's just like hit a wall.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to perceive that failure point with legs. Most of us have a second gear that we can kind of kick into, whereas like you said on press, you kind of know when you're gonna hit that wall. It just is what it is. Whereas legs or deadlift, like you can go to that dark place and crank out a few more reps.
Yeah, I would say for a lot of people I've seen, a lot of people I know, they're like max or really close to their max deadlift or squat, they could probably do another rep.
Yeah.
A lot of times, especially, especially because the executions, you're usually really clean.
Exactly.
They'll probably do a full another rep with that weight that they thought was like their total max.
Yeah.
Which is wild. I mean, Hafthor Bjornsson could do, like an 1,100 pound deadlift probably for a double.
Yeah.
And that's just because, again, the mechanics of it, his form was good on the first rep. And then some of that tension's also pulled out of there too. And then there's also confidence.
Yeah, you look at some of those best lifts of all time, they look easy, like Andrei Milanichev. His squats, they always look like lightning fast,
He just smashed
deadlift, just smooth as butter.
Yeah, he just smashed it. Especially, the Russian lifters always have really good form.
Purposely try to roll to the outside edge of your foot?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit. I try to drive the knees out. Did it look like I was like maybe pronated too much?
Well, I get it with really trying to externally rotate the hips. You're going to kind of naturally roll to the outside of the foot. Some people, they'll say if you're able to keep kind of that
big toe on the ground,
big toe pressure. There's a little bit more strength and power there potentially, but I kind of do the same thing. I tend to really roll to the outside.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people ask me about that before. They're like, why is your big toe off the ground? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I don't need it for squats.
I think there's also just certain things. It's like, you can't try to mold everyone into just the technique.
Same
form. It's like just certain positions and techniques work better for other people.
I do agree though, it actually probably would be, it'd probably train something a little different on me, which would probably be a good thing. Having getting into that big toe a little bit more. Yeah, I remember helping Chuck Vogelpool with some squats, and he did from West Side Barbell, he had I think 12 45s on there.
Yeah.
On each side. And I just remember he did his squats. The session probably took 2 hours, and then when he was done, the bar was just deloaded in 3 minutes. It was as if he was never there. I'm like, well, if he could put his weights back, then no one should have a problem with it.
Right.
The monster.
I think I'm gonna do some rift elevated dumbbell split squats.
Nice.
Warm up some of those isometrics. Getting some time under tension in that bottom position.
also allowing litigation, allowing finding, I think it's a complicated issue.
For the anti-litigation, that was specifically for the
No, it's for most vaccines.
withdrawal.
If there's one thing I hate doing with a passion, it's single leg training. With that said, the benefits of single leg training are very good. So I force myself to do them.
You can't like shoot against them. So it's been around for a long time.
And it was just what helped.
What do you mean?
Like you said something like just happened.
No, that's been the only thing recently. Once Biden was leaving office, it was specifically for Biden.
You ever hear the conversations they have in there, Ryan? Oh, you can hear it? It's so funny. It's my son and like his friends, basically. And the other two guys work here as well, but just have these like really intellectual conversations where I'm like, at that age, I don't think I've ever had an intellectual conversation.
How old's your son now? He just turned 21, didn't he?
Yeah, I turned 21.
Yeah, I saw your
Yep.
post.
Yep.
Here you go. Something about squatting with chains just feels so good.
Oh, I know, right?
Kind of that contact with the floor, it like kind of keeps you in the groove.
It feels great.
Almost like a Smith machine, and then just the deloading at the bottom. I love squatting with chains.
Oh yeah, it feels so good.
We use the chains heavily with our in-season guys. So we'll start the beginning of the season with straight bar weight, and then as the season progresses, the wear and tear gets more and more on them.
Yeah.
We start adding chains. So by the end of the season, they're using a lot of chain weight, a lot less bar weight, but total weight at the top is still heavy. Good neurostimulus, still getting some good axial loading, but just so much easier on the joints.
That's kind of what I feel is like, yeah, I get that weight at the top. Because I don't know, even there's 25s on there and stuff, it's still like 3 something, like, I don't know, 350 or something. It's not crazy, but it's still something.
I mean, that neural stimulus of having that top weight just on your back, walking it out, even if it deloads at the bottom, there's still a good neural stimulus to that top end of the load.
I found that bands, they're just like, sometimes, well, chains can be inconvenient, but the bands are like, the tension of the band sometimes is a little too much.
Yeah,
for certain lifts or certain exercises.
And then it kind of you get into the over speed eccentric where it's actually pulling you down and then reversing out of that. It's just, I find it fatigues me more.
Yeah.
Much more with bands than chains.
Where a band I think does make sense actually is like in a little bit of bodybuilding. I think like a band on here would be kind of cool because that top range or that there was a portion of that lift that was like way too easy for you.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
So I think a band on something like that, and you see more machines now have a spot to put bands on.
Right. Yeah. No, like adding some band resistance to a hack squat would be great because once I clear that kind of midpoint of the rep, it's just just easy. I was telling the camera, I despise doing single leg training, but it's benefited me a ton.
Yeah, it's helpful.
Yep. Those freaking smoke my glute.
Oh yeah. It's awesome that you're able to train like that. You know, you got a lot of football under your belt.
Yeah.
A lot of people are really banged up, you know. It's good you're able to still move and do a lot of the things that you love.
I think going through phases of, you know, strongman powerlifting, bodybuilding, strongman powerlifting, bodybuilding, kind of the flood, the cyclical nature helps me kind of refresh my joints when I get to bodybuilding, hit it hard with the powerlifting, and then get a refresher with the bodybuilding, kind of allows me to stay healthy. This is the shitty part of single leg training. Got to go train the other leg now. Do one more set. I'm gonna need a lot of carbs after this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people's diets need to kind of match their personality a little bit. Their training needs to match their personality a little bit.
Yeah.
And your training and your diet need to match up. You know, like if you're dumping tons and tons of carbohydrates into your system, but you're not really burning them.
Exactly.
That's not a great diet.
Yeah.
You know, even just from a health standpoint, not so much just like a body fat standpoint. It's probably not going to work out great for you if you're eating like 600-700 grams of carbs, but then you're kind of not on a good plan or pattern with your strength training.
Yeah. It's like Charles Pollock when he used to say, earn your carbs.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna be eating high carb, better be earning it. You know, so with training like this in my size, I'm burning through some glycogen.
Yeah.
So it's incredible how quickly I flatten out. Like I'll eat 1,000 grams of carbs, go through a hard leg day, and then I'm deflated at the end of it. So, whew.
Yeah, it's very anaerobic, right? When you're training like this, I mean, and it's very glycolytic in nature. You're like literally burning through sugar when you're lifting weights, right?
Exactly.
Glucose. I also like the idea of like you fatigue a particular area. Let's say it's legs, like you're fatiguing your legs. By consuming carbohydrates, you now have a transport system to transport other nutrients potentially.
Exactly.
Salt, potassium, calcium, so on. I mean, you still have to consume those things.
Exactly.
But now and maybe it doesn't work the way that I'm thinking, but maybe it works on like a multi-faceted level. But now we're getting amino acids in there, and we're just
No, it does.
You're filling the cell with many different things.
That's the reason bodybuilders will take, insulin before they work out is it's going to shuttle all of those components into the tissue. So it's not just the carbohydrates, but it's going to be the amino acids. It's going to be all the electrolytes and
maybe even some lipids, right?
Yeah, in order for a carbohydrate to be stored as glycogen, it needs sodium and it needs water. So it can't just be carbs. Like you've got to match that with the sodium, the potassium, the fluid intake. So my intra shake, I'll do 32 ounces of, it's usually coconut water because it's very high in potassium.
Yep.
I'll add pink salt to it, and then I'll do carbs in the form of highly branched cyclic dextrin, which, that kind of absorbs right through the stomach lining, easily gets pulled into the bloodstream, and have essential aminos in here. So got my aminos, carbs, lots of electrolytes, and enough fluid to, store it all.
Plus, a lot of those drinks usually taste good. That's probably like
Exactly.
right?
Tastes delicious.
Some flavored thing, right? Yeah,
they got my like pineapple mango flavor.
Yeah, it's like drinking an extra sweet Gatorade while you're working out.
Yeah. Let's go. Brace hard against that belt. Drive, yeah. Good.
Woo!
Looking stronger by the set.
Yeah, it feels good, especially when I do a couple sets. It's funny because I've actually just left this weight on here for a while, and just a couple times a week I just walk over to it and
hit it
and do a few of them. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
It's also just easier to go and do it once that the bar's already sitting there waiting, loaded for you.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with a regular bar.
Yeah.
There we go. Yep, come on. You think you'll do a show?
That's my plan.
Yeah.
I don't have a show picked out yet, but my plan is in 2025 to get on stage, just get out of my comfort zone, do something new, have an actual end date to, kind of light a fire under my ass for prepping for. Because I've always done these bodybuilding style preps with no stage date, no competition, just doing it for the challenge of getting lean as possible.
Right.
But after my last diet, I was like, man, I've kind of built a physique that I'm proud of at this point. Like, I've got so many connections to the bodybuilding world now. Like, why not just step on stage and do this? Yeah,
I think, two things are going to happen. One is you're going to get leaner for the show than you've ever been before.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that's going to happen is you're going to stay leaner than you've ever been before.
Yeah.
Whether you're big or whether you're smaller, you'll still stay leaner forever.
Yeah.
Basically from that one show. I mean, it could happen where you stay leaner the rest of your life.
There's absolutely something to that, to just at least one time get really, really, really lean, and you create this new normal for your body. Yeah. I mean, you literally, you burn some of those fat cells off. Like, you just take your body to this new set point, and it's harder to get fat after that. So there's absolutely merit to that.
Yeah, it's just showing yourself what you're capable of.
Yeah.
It's really kind of cool.
Absolutely. Was it, are you glad that you did your show?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah, 100%. It was a great challenge, and I don't think I'll do another one, but I don't know, maybe when I'm 50 something, I'm 48, so maybe when I'm 50 something, maybe I'll just be like, oh, let me just do another one just to kind of get that back to that mindset,
Did you have to really suffer at the end of your prep? Like, were you in hungry mode?
No, I wasn't really crazy hungry because we never really did anything too crazy with the food. Where I got kind of screwed up was I got kind of screwed up afterwards. Afterwards was just weird. Like, I told my wife, I was like, oh, let's go, over here. We're going to go to this beach area, and we're going to, because my show will be over. Yeah. I can eat whatever I want, and we'll have a good couple days together. And I was just like, I was so melancholy, like, hey, you want to do this? I was like, sure. Hey, you want to do that? It was just like
competition blues.
Blues, yeah, like really bad. And then that's like not normally me. Like, I'm not normally like that. So
no,
that was different for me.
I get it because you spend so much time in this structure. Every day has so much purpose. Like, every meal, every step on the Stairmaster has this purpose to it. And then suddenly it's like, it's over. And now your days just don't have that same drive and structure and purpose. You're like, what am I doing with my life now?
Yeah, I was so fired up too to go to this restaurant, and I was like, oh, I want to get this sandwich. They have like this at this place. They have a breakfast sandwich that is the sandwich bread is French toast.
Yeah,
and it has like bacon, egg, and cheese in the middle of it or something.
Right.
It's amazing. Well, what's great is what happened was I took like one bite, and my stomach just went blue, 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 and I was like, I need to go to the bathroom. So I get up, and I say, like, I asked the guy, like, where the bathroom is. He's like, oh, it's closed. I was like, I just go, it can't be. And he saw, like, the fear in my eyes, and he's like, you can go in this one. So like, they let me use the one the cooks or whatever use. I had to go in there and just completely blow it up. But yeah, just liquid, just because my body wasn't used to anything different for so long.
Yeah. Every post-diet cheat meal just destroys me. And every year I'm like, this is going to be the year where I stay like in the pocket and conservative.
A little calm, calm it down.
And then inevitably I'm just
promise I'm not going to eat a bowl of cookie dough.
I'm just acid reflux and don't sleep. I'm just bloated and disgusting. And then you just hate yourself. You hate yourself.
You're like, why did I do that again? Whoa. He knew my background and stuff too. He knew that I was like low carb, so he never really gave me much carbs. So it was like kind of almost like 150 carbs almost all the way through.
Got it.
Occasionally he might bump me up. A couple times he would just be like, have a cheat meal or something like that,
Yeah.
And what was tough from him is like, he'd say something like, have a cheat meal, I'd be like, cheat meal? Or like how long, like how many? He's like, just go and fucking eat. Like, just go somewhere and just eat. I was like, I don't know, like I don't want to mess up, so should it just literally be one meal? Like, what do you want me to do? He's like, I don't give a fuck, just go eat. Yeah. He'd say stuff like that, and when I was like, it actually was of benefit to me though, him saying that as a coach, because I ended up putting my own restriction on it that way, rather than him putting any sort of restriction on it.
Yeah, see, I get that, I do, because like that's what I would do is, I'm given this like unrestricted cheat meal and I'm just naturally going to err on the more conservative side because I don't want to mess it up. But it's stressful to me because I'm like, well, are you saying it'll benefit me to like eat all this food? Because like I want to, so if you tell me it'll benefit me, like I'll do it. But if you just tell me, it's for you just to satisfy your cravings, I'm like, well, I don't need it, I don't want it. Like, it's more stressful to me. I kind of want some parameters on it, because like I'm putting in so much work.
Later, Eric.
Like I don't want to risk sabotaging it.
Yeah, I think what Hani realized was like, I got this guy. This guy's already listening to me full blast. Right. He's eating steak once a day, chicken once a day, and fish twice a day, and he's having one, he's doing the intra-workout shake, and I was doing everything he was saying. So I think when he told me to cheat, that's why he kind of said it that way. I think if it was someone different, maybe he would give them specific parameters.
Yeah.
But yeah, it made a huge difference when I did cheat. Like my body swelled up. I ended up working out really well.
Yeah, when you hit a good refeed meal and you kind of keep it right in the pocket without just totally pigging out, like you can soak it up like a sponge. Yeah. And it really does benefit you.
And have you heard Chris Aceto talk about that stuff before?
Yeah, I love Aceto.
That's really interesting because like him and a lot of other guys are like, we don't really know why, but junk food works differently than everything else.
It does. I mean, there's so many things in bodybuilding that, the science would never validate it.
Right.
But you see it happen in practice with some of these guys, and part of it, you got the drugs in play.
Right.
They have these superhuman metabolisms because they're carrying so much tissue and they're so lean, but
some of them are IFBB pros, which have, great genetics on their side along with the drugs and everything else too. So
it's incredible how some of those guys just seem to defy all science when it comes to their ability to process just absurd amounts of food.
There was a guy years ago, and you've heard the name, I'm sure, but it was Jon Kiefer.
Oh yeah.
With carb backloading and stuff. And
Yeah.
Jon Kiefer, he was one of the first people I really ever heard talk about the positive side effects of processed foods. He was like, well, they're kind of almost like processed for us. They're not like partially digested, but it's almost as if they are, because
They're easier to eat.
they're easier. Like, most people can attest that it's easier to have a big old cheeseburger with the bun than it is to have it without the bun. Without the bun, your stomach might feel a little queasy. With the bun, it feels like the bun somehow soaks everything up.
Yeah. No, it's really true. Yeah, eating processed foods, it's like goes down easier. You can eat so many more calories of processed foods and you barely feel it. Whereas, you try to eat the same caloric equivalent in rice and oats or whatever. It's just,
You have like 5 or 6 eggs in the morning or something like that. And if you just have those same 5 or 6 eggs again with some toast,
yeah.
it just changes the way your stomach feels about the whole situation.
So that's why, I mentioned with my high carb days, I do a 50-50 split of sugary carbs and diet carbs. So 50% of my carbs in any meal will be rice, cream of rice, oats, whatever. But then the other 50%, it's bagels and jelly, it's pancake mix and syrup, it's granola bars, it's sugary cereal, things like that. Just makes it so much easier to get down and digest.
Makes it a little more
1100
fun
grams of
too,
carbs.
mental side.
Gives me something to look forward to. I don't dread eating that.
There you go, yep. What about using, some of your background in strength conditioning kind of blended into some bodybuilding, like things like sled drags or sled pushes?
Yeah.
Do you have any intent, or have you used some of that, either like A, for conditioning, or even B, for just like, I don't know, to me, when I dieted down for my bodybuilding show, people are like, holy shit, your hamstrings are awesome. Like, I was like, I don't know, I've been powerlifting and I've been dragging a sled for 20 years.
Yeah, 100%. No, I think the sled is a great tool for a few different things. One, it can be a great warm-up. You do some backwards sled dragging, some sled pushes, like it's a great warm-up, get blood flow in the area, a concentric only movement. I think it's a great cardio tool. Like for me, I hate getting on a Stairmaster or a bike. It's just boring. Whereas you put me on the Prowler sled for like intervals where I'm doing every minute on the minute, short burst sled pushes, like
right.
I'm locked in on that. Like it's challenging, it's fun, it's engaging, and it's a great way to get cardio and conditioning and burn calories. It can also just be a good lower body option, especially like deep in a diet where you need to maybe go with some safer options. The sled, it's concentric only. It's not pushing back against you. Right?
I love that there's not much to learn with it.
Yeah, it's exactly totally simple. You don't really need to warm up for it. You can just jump on the sled and go.
Yeah.
It's a safe movement, but you can push it really hard. So
Whoever coaches you in your bodybuilding show is going to have you on the Stairmaster.
Yeah, well,
They're going to stick you
it'll
on
be Justin Harris doing that.
I think he'll stick you on the Stairmaster.
He'll stick me on something.
Because it might actually even help the legs.
Yeah.
It might help the legs get a little different shape and stuff to them.
Yeah, Stairmaster will smoke your legs.
I don't understand how that's an exercise you just never get used to, though. I don't get it.
That was
like
our punishment.
you just perpetually always suck at it. There's no getting better at it.
When I was a player, the Stairmaster was our punishment. If we missed class or a tutoring session or late to a meeting, we had to do 300 floors in the Stairmaster.
I remember Dana Lynn Bailey, she had a really high-level CrossFit girl try the Stairmaster with her, and it was just killing her. She was like, holy shit. It takes a ton of conditioning.
Yeah. God, I hate the Stairmaster.
It's annoying. I mean, at most gyms too, they just like, I don't know why they do this. They should just turn you the other way, but they face you towards the wall.
Yeah, that's a good
You're
point.
like, I don't want to be looking at the wall. I mean, you know, I guess there's pervs in the gym too who are just like creeping and staring at everybody or whatever. So I guess maybe there's that, but it's like, I'd rather people watch
Yeah.
than to just like stare at a wall and be on the Stairmaster the whole time.
Are you a music guy, a podcast guy? When
Back
you're doing
then,
the
so when I
cardio?
was doing the bodybuilding show, I would just type in motivation and I would just listen to all the famous
Speakers?
motivational stuff, motivational speakers or bodybuilding motivation. I would just crank. Because my kind of like theory on a lot of this stuff is like if I want to be a football player, I'd just hang out with you. I'd hang out with football players. I'd get around football players and I would throw around the football more, therefore hopefully I'd throw and catch better, you know?
Right.
And when I did bodybuilding, I was like, just be a bodybuilder, just like consume it. And so I, you know, not only like did the lifting and everything else, but tried to study it a little bit, try to learn.
Right.
I wasn't very good in terms of like posing and shit like that. I didn't, but I also knew I wasn't going to master that in like 12 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the part I'm nervous for is getting in trunks and posing. Like,
Yeah.
That's going to be totally new territory for me.
It's pretty funny too, because I had kind of most intentions on not even doing like the bodybuilding thing. I was going to do like physique or whatever.
Right.
And then Jay Cutler came to he did our podcast, and he came to our studio in Sacramento, and he's like, "You're not just gonna go up there wearing board shorts, are you?" I was like, "Oh no, I signed up for the whole thing." I was like, "Shit, now I have to do it."
You're going to be wearing board shorts. Or he's got
Yeah,
that
board
thick
shorts. Yeah,
accent.
yeah. Hey, you're not gonna be wearing fucking board shorts.
I love Jay Cutler, man.
Oh, he's amazing.
Whew. God.
Have you ever had a neck harness in your gym bag?
Yes. I love neck training. Have you ever experienced manual neck training?
Oh, with like a towel or something, or somebody just giving you pressure?
You've never experienced
No.
real manual neck. So I got to credit this to, his name is Daryl Bauer. He's currently the director of strength and performance at Troy. Huge on manual neck training. It is the most taxing, like painful training of your neck you have ever experienced in your life. But man, your neck will grow from it. I'm talking just 5 reps or so.
Shit.
It's incredible. If there's any brave souls in here, I'll lay them down and give them a set of it. I just need a towel. But yeah, I've always had a neck harness. Do some neck planks.
I always say that's how you know someone like kind of lost their marbles. It's a good sign that like they jumped the shark, you know, like there's no turning back from the neck harness in the gym bag.
No, you've got a few screws loose. Like you said, if you're doing regular neck training. But yeah,
We had
I
some
love
weights
loading.
in my basement when I was a kid, and that was like one of the first things that I used was a neck harness because
Yeah.
you know, I didn't know how to do a lot of other stuff yet, you know, and we didn't have that much stuff. So you just have like a couple plates and you have the neck harness and you're just sitting there like, this is good for football, so I'm going to do these drills.
You never know when having a strong neck could benefit you.
That's
you get
true.
into a car accident or anything kind of whiplashy, like
Yeah.
having a strong, fortified neck, it can protect you in a lot of
Fortified
different situations. Yeah. I think I'm going to hit a single burnout on the belt.
Nice.
I might see if these old hamstrings have a Nordic or 2 in them. After smoking myself on the curl, I don't know if they'll have any. Oh, quads are smoked.
And Graham will come back and pick you up or whatever? Or?
Yeah, I think after this I'll run, grab a bite to eat, and then if he's not here, I'll just Uber there.
I was going to take you guys to eat at a place called Buckhorn, which is in Winters.
Oh yeah?
I'd like to try to go there kind of early-ish, maybe we'll leave for there at like 4 or something like that. So maybe
that's perfect.
Maybe don't. I mean, you can eat as much as you want, I guess, but save some for the steaks at Buckhorn because it's really good.
The amount I'm eating right now, I need to go eat a meal, and then I'll be hungry again need to load up at the steakhouse.
Perfect,
I'm psyched.
perfect.
Full disclosure, I don't have nice clothes.
Oh, you don't need anything nice.
Okay, I've got an Adidas black zip-up jacket.
Yeah, no, it's a.
I didn't bring.
It's just it's a whatever.
Okay.
It's just like a steakhouse. Perfect. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm fired up.
It should be good. All right, man, I'm gonna head out.
All right. Hey, great meeting you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
This is a lot of fun. I mean, I remember seriously like getting into just falling in love with powerlifting. I had your podcast on, watching your YouTube videos, and I remember the backyard meet of the century.
Oh yeah,
all
that was
those,
fun.
That really kind of inspired me. So being here now, it's really cool.
It's awesome to have you here, and great to meet you, and great to learn so much more about you. And then John was telling me that a big inspiration and big part of him getting into strength and conditioning is because of some of the stuff he saw of mine. So that's flattering. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you made a huge impact on our industry, so it's an honor to be here.
Strength is never weakness, weakness never strength. Catch you guys later.